What up, homosexual? What's going on? It's Coach Ledena coming back, bragging about my clients because they're crushing it. And today I got my homie Myra joining me to tell a little bit about what your fitness era has been like at the Queer Gym. So, Myra, thank you for being here. Tell us a little bit about
Yeah,
you.
sure. Hi, everyone. Myra, she, her. I'm in upstate New York. Just a little bit of details about me. Big nerd. There's really no other way to put it. But like, yeah, we're talking D&D. We're talking Magic the Gathering. We're talking video games. I have been recently getting into like minor league baseball though. So like, I think I might have a butch lesbian side of me I've been
Oh,
ignoring. So like, when it doesn't center the mainstream media of sports, I actually like it. Weird. Okay. So that's been a journey. Yeah.
wow.
That's been just like
Okay.
in the past 2 months. Why haven't I been watching more minor league? This is actually kind of chill. Like I just get to crack open a cold one, watch the game, and see all these minor league players just, biggest fuck ups, and it's fun. Big nerd at heart, a
Awesome.
little bit of a butch lesbian. I'm ignoring and working on not ignoring as much. Big academic. I'm hoping to start a PhD in the next few years, so I'm pretty excited and terrified at the thought, but that's for a future me to worry about. So pre-queer gem, honestly, it was pretty rough. I'm pretty open about my story at this point. I know you know it. I was in a pretty bad car accident right before I joined the queer gym a few years back, and that was pretty rough. I got a head injury called post-concussive syndrome. If you've ever had a concussion, just imagine that lasting for years instead of a few weeks to a few months. Basically, that's the best way I can describe it. Life was pretty rough for me at the moment. I had almost dropped out of my master's program. I remember just being kind of stuck in my bedroom crying, wondering like, all right, if I can't think, if I'm not this smart, Myra, then like what the hell am I? I'm sure for those who are in recovery or have experienced like a severe form of trauma, for some they don't really get to it until their midlife or later. But for me, I was 28 at the time. And I was like, what is the meaning of my life? What is life? And you have all these questions of realizing I've only been focusing on certain parts of myself as opposed to the whole picture. I focused so much on my brain over the years, being an academic, going to school. I was almost done with my master's. And like, prior to the accident, I literally just started estrogen and I was like, oh, finally, I'm working on hormones and feeling more comfortable in my body. And then it was like, oh, fuck, now I'm doing both that and the car accident. Let's go.
Wow.
Life was pretty hard. I remember thinking life has to be so much more than just what I'm going through right now. And there's got to be more purpose and more meaning. And so when I was going through occupational therapy and then physical therapy for my neck from the whiplash, I remember one of the biggest questions I had asked my physical therapist was, hey, I don't want to make my brain worse. I also really want to work out because I am tired of settling with like, okay, I have at least these few things going
Mm,
for me. That's it. And instead of settling for that, I'm like, no, fuck that. I want to be a greedy bitch. I want more. I want more for myself than just
I love
these
that.
few things. I want that and more. And she had me run on the treadmill, asked me some questions, asked if I was able to still think or not. And I was like, no, I can still think. It's just, the traditional fatigue, tiredness of running on a treadmill and when you haven't ran in months. And that's
Yeah.
kind of when I finally got the A-OK saying like, well, it looks like you were only having a hard time thinking with your concussive symptoms when you were at max speed, but let's be honest, who doesn't have a hard time thinking when they're running at
Mm,
max speed? After that, I was like, shit, all right, well, I'm still trans, I'm still queer, and that's another hurdle I didn't even talk about. And now it's like, well, I'm gonna look around and I'm gonna get started on this. Finally, find more meaning to life outside of just what I thought it was for me at the time academics, school, whatever.
down. That is crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah, the timing of everything was so surreal. Started estrogen, 3 months later, got into a car accident, 6 to 8 months later, was in the middle of rehab, finally started working at the queer gym that summer of 2024. So I'm like one of the older members, quote unquote,
Yep.
older. I'm not from California, so
OGs.
I can't really say I'm an OG, but like I'm an OG first layer.
So let's back it up. So you got cleared from your PT to
Mhm.
start working out, and then walk me through from that moment to finding QueerGym.
Yeah, sure. My memory's a little bit fuzzy around that time period. I was still healing from a brain injury, mind you, but
Yeah,
yeah,
fair,
but
fair.
from what I vaguely recollect, I remember thinking, okay, I want to reclaim some of what I've lost and also what I haven't had ever. So with my occupational
Mm.
therapy, I focused on my vision. I was going back into school. I was literally relearning how to read, and I was starting with my academic text, that was fucking fun. Having to read about queer theory when you're healing from a brain injury, that was amazing. So I had that.
Oh,
But then for my
heavy.
body, I wasn't really sure where to go or what to do for that. So I had vaguely remembered a very long time ago. I remember hearing about the Queer Gym. I think it was around 2021-ish or 2022. I remember COVID was definitely a thing at the time, but I remember hearing about an online Queer Gym program. And I remember at the time it was much more inaccessible just with the finances involved logistically, how much I was making at the time, which wasn't much. I was a part-time tutor in higher education, it's kind of like entry level. And so I remember thinking about it and I'm like, huh, I wonder if they're still around now and things have changed since, and then found out you guys were still around. Like, I remember I was a baby queer at that time, and then after the accident, I was more, okay, I think I have my footing. I know this place exists. Let's see if it works, because I needed something that was queer friendly. I wanted something that was online. Like, my vision was fucked up. I wasn't driving anytime soon. I was pleasantly surprised to be like, oh shit, they're still around. Okay, maybe I will hit them up with an invoice and see how that works. And then I discovered, oh shit, they have a training membership for $100 a month. Okay, I have to do 12 every month, but if I do, I get the $100 discount. It goes from 2 to 100. I'll try that. And I did. So yeah, I do vaguely remember that.
Yeah, because you started with the group
Yep.
workout. Now you've been doing one-on-one
Hmm.
coaching for a while now. So to bring it back, you joined in June of
Right.
2024.
It's always been June every time.
Okay.
Happy gay.
June, yeah.
Yeah.
And since you've joined us, you've done 195 workouts. So you are 5 workouts away from the 200 club.
I did not realize that much time has passed. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you upgraded to one-on-one coaching and nutrition and all that good stuff. So talk to me about what that's been like in terms of the results.
Yeah, so the training starting off was really good, but I could tell something was missing. I definitely felt stronger. I remember being able to like help a friend lift a heavy couch, and I was like, wow, wait, hold up. My ass is actually putting in the work and my back is not screaming in pain. Those squats have been working. Okay. So like I remember little things like that, but
Chill.
like my body image was still, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't quite what I wanted. So I was like, okay, I think I might do some coaching as well. Things are a bit better financially. I'm gonna give that a shot, see where it goes. And this was around the same time Coach Taylor was accepting her first round of clients because she was new to coaching. And I saw that the discount was there
Hmm.
for the coaching instead of being 600 or 500. I think it was like a 1 or 200 less. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I love Coach Taylor. I'll give it a shot with her. I feel like I have similar energy with her as far as like, kind of femme, kind of gay, kind of whatever. Let's see how it goes.
Vibes.
I'm still coaching with her right now. I never forgot the scholarship you guys gave me. It was like 4 part scholarships and 1 full-time scholarship. I was one of those
Yeah.
eligible for the
Yeah.
part-time, which I can't ever forget that. I'm so thankful. It helped me out during a very difficult job hunting period, and I was considering stopping coaching. And instead, I got to lose 20 pounds 1 year later. At my highest, I was closer to like 183, 185. And then the last week or two, I've been hovering around 166, 167. And I'm like,
Nice. That's
yeah,
consistency.
I'm still baffled. I remember thinking, well, maybe I'll get to like 165. And now it's like, oh, wow, I'm almost there. And I can have more? Wow. Okay. I guess I am greedy now. All right.
Hmm. Like you said, you're still working with Coach Taylor. You know, y'all still putting in the work.
Yeah,
So you got good momentum going right now.
I'm not going to fucking stop. I remember in one of our coaching calls a long time back, you had vaguely mentioned one of your favorite clients to work with were those who had never had a fit body before because the image change is insurmountable, as is the emotional reaction. And I gotta tell you, as someone who
Hmm.
was both that and also trans and queer, it's so weird to look at the mirror and be like, oh wow, I actually am kind of hot. I can see why she flirted with me. Like, oh, like
Go
it's
on.
just so weird. It's like, starting estrogen, I was like, yeah, I guess I have tits now. That's kind of not. And then doing voice training all these years later, I'm like, all right, I'm sounding femme. That's pretty cool. But now seeing it like all pieced together, the voice, the hormones, and now
Hmm.
getting more and more of the body shape in, like, it's weird to be like, oh, wow, it's actually accentuating what's already there. Like, fuck. It's just kind of weird. It's like, wow, okay. My core is engaged. Like, that's a feeling, Like,
That's the feeling.
it
Yeah.
was just I don't know. It was just so funny to like actually use my muscles and to actually see them like, oh wow, you're contracting and you're doing stuff I didn't realize you could do. Okay, cool.
I know physically, you dropped 25 pounds. I know a lot of that was through the good work you did on your
Yeah.
nutrition. What do you feel has been the biggest change from Myra when you first started the QueerGym to
Oh,
Myra now?
confidence, 100,000%. Confidence has skyrocketed, and that's been for multiple reasons. It kind of started my journey of self-exploration, and I'm sure a lot of people who have done testimonies can relate to this. Previous to starting working out, you kind of get that little voice in your head of like, yeah, I'll do it later. I'll do it when I have time, or I'll do it when things are slowing down, more convenient. And I kind of used to feel that way, but after the car accident I was in, like one of the darkest moments, I was in my bed crying, couldn't see, my vision was so fucked at the time. And it was basically thinking life has to have more than just this. And it kind of pushed me to be like, you know what? I deserve more. I deserve better. And not everything leading up to the accident was perfect, but holy fuck, I deserve both better than before and during this.
You had me with the line when you said, I want to be a greedy bitch.
Yeah.
I love that because we sometimes feel we don't deserve or, we downplay
Hmm.
small. We're too humble sometimes. So, like, I love that statement. It's cheeky, it's
Yeah.
powerful, and it fits perfectly, like, your whole attitude through this whole fitness process. Not just a fitness process, but I mean, going through the accident and all the OT and the PT and getting started working out, like, your
Yeah.
persistency is
Thank you.
impressive. It's impressive. And I'm so proud of all the work you put in, the consistency behind it. It's so dope.
Yeah,
Congrats.
it's funny when you had asked a question of like what was the hardest struggle with the queer gem process and what got you through it. It was so funny because like yeah, sure, I had a few challenges here and there like while doing coaching, while working out, but if I'm being honest, for me I think the biggest struggle was before all that because you had to ask yourself the big questions of why am I so unhappy? Why am I settling? Why me even? Like why this? And that sure that's the accident too. After a certain point, the humbleness was nice, but also I deserve everything I got in regards to the working out, getting my master's degree. Like, fuck. I went from being a master's student to struggling to read children's books. Like, I put my effort and time into occupational therapy to relearn how to read. I was going to get my master's degree. Same with the fucking exercising. I was struggling at first to know if I could even push myself to do more than a light jog. And now I lost almost 20 pounds and I'm hoping to lose another 20 come next year. Everything's a marathon in that regards too. I'd rather be slow and happy and healthy instead of doing another quick diet crash
Mm,
workout, keto, whatever, and then just being like, all right, well, I'm not allowed to have carbs anymore. Screw that little bit of ice cream or chips I
yeah.
was hoping to have just at least once. Like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Too
Yeah.
tired and angry. I
Fuck
want
it.
my results, and if it's slow and consistent, then so be it.
What message would you send old you?
I think one of the biggest things I would say is it gets better, but don't toxic positivity your way through it either. Like,
Oh.
I see this way too much. I'm not talking about the queer gym specifically, but just like fitness areas in general with like, you have to push through the pain, no pain, no gain. And it's like, okay, there's some truth to that, but there's also contact. The only reason I was able to move through the experiences I had to get my degree and to start working out again and to even consider looking for job work after being almost a year unemployed because of the accident, the only reason I was able to do all of that was because I had to force myself to answer the hard questions and struggle and at times even suffer. I had to move through the pain. I couldn't ignore the pain. If I tried to ignore it, I would have been just going for happy go lucky quick results. And I knew with my injury that was not going to happen. So fine, if I have to do occupational
Mm,
therapy 3 times a week to remember what it's like to be able to read, to remember what it's like to be in this outside world where there's this giant yellow ball come the sun, and I have to relearn how to use my neck so it doesn't break every time I try to look around when someone's asking me a question or looking for where something is. If I have to take the slow, painful, powerful steps I had to fucking take to get there, it was worth all of the emotional pain and labor I had to do before to get to that point where I got my degree and I got closer to the body I want. Fuck the toxic positivity and keep pushing till you make it. No pain, no gain. I only got through it all because I moved through the pain. I had to acknowledge it. I had to process it and I had to keep going.
mm-hmm. I'm already standing. Sitting
You're
as
good.
stand. That's fucking well
Thank
put,
you.
Myra. Super well put because, I like how there's like on one end of the pendulum, it's like toxic positivity. And then on the other end is like the bro aggressive aggro
Hmm.
vibe. And like there's a center, there's the balance, there's the middle,
Yeah.
right? You know, enough for it to be sustainable and enough
Mhm.
for it to do
Yeah,
results.
exactly. That was the biggest thing, I think, was as far as physical fitness goes, one thing I've learned from my experience is you can't undermine the emotional toll. You can
Mhm.
try, but it will not work. You can try to say, oh, I'm going to do this for a few months and I'm going to
100%.
lose 20 pounds and life will be better. Don't fucking do that. You can try, it's not going to work.
You said to Myra, don't fucking do that. That is the shortcut. The long way is the
It
shortcut.
really,
Is I think what
that
Myra's trying to
basically
say.
is.
The long way is
I
the shortcut.
tried to do that when I first started at the QueerGym. A little bit, not in hindsight, not with the full memory of, oh, I'm going to lose all this weight so quickly, but just kind of like, I think I had more of the mental mindset of if I work out harder, it will be quicker and it will be faster and it will be better. The results I got were so much more meaningful and impactful when I was doing the coaching with Coach Taylor and I started to really deep dive into the nutrition. The results before were still helpful. I was
Mm,
definitely stronger, but it didn't mean as much because I didn't have the macros to actually do something with it. Like it helped, but it wasn't enough, if I'm making
yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah. The nutrition and the accountability
Hmm.
are a dangerous combination then
Yeah,
to get shit done. Well, clearly you got shit done.
yeah.
Congratulations on all of your hard work. Shout out to you and Coach Taylor. Y'all made quite the
Hmm.
team. And again, impressive fucking
Thank you.
story. And like you said, you're not done. You still got things you want to do. You got, another 20 pounds you want to
Yeah,
drop. You are on a roll despite
yeah,
the journey you had to
yeah.
go through.
It's,
So
thank
that
you.
is awesome. I'm honored to be your
Thank
gym,
you.
Myra.
It's been surreal to be here and to still be here, realizing, I think it's really funny how much we often say we don't really have the control or the power, or we have external circumstances that really change and define us. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, I still live with the car accident every day. It gave me fibromyalgia. Like, I can't really
Mm,
ignore that. But it's more about dealing with what you got dealt as opposed to just kind of looking at your hand and being like, well,
yeah.
I tried. It's,
Yeah. Myra, if you don't inspire the shit out of everybody that watches this, I quit. Like, I
yeah.
don't know. I don't know.
It's been
Oh man.
it's been a journey, but I don't know. I guess for like last words, the biggest thing I can really mention is like kind of what I already mentioned earlier. You got to move through the hardness, the difficult questions, the big why am I so unhappy moments. Like you can't shortcut it. You can't ignore the
Yeah,
pain.
this is definitely, I want to say, like, spoiler alert, this is a spiritual journey disguised as a physical one. Because unless you're really ready to answer and face those questions,
Hmm.
you're just going to always yo yo because it's just a reflection of what's going on inside that you're not really ready to
Yeah,
deal with.
it's so funny. I remember you saying that
Yeah.
several times when I was fresh out of the accident. And then now I look at it like 2 years later and I'm like, okay, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's not just physical. It's not that I didn't believe you. I was just like, yeah, I guess I could see that. Now it's like, yeah, no, if anyone says otherwise, they're absolutely wrong. Like, it's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, thank you so much, Mara, for coming on here, sharing your
no,
amazing story. Congratulations
thank
on the
you.
results. Y'all don't just click this fucking button and sign up. I don't know what to tell you, y'all crazy. Like, let's go. Let's make some
Yeah,
moves. Thank you all for watching this. Myra, thank you again for coming
no
through and sharing
problem.
your story. I'm so pumped for you. And again, I'm really honored to be your gym.
Thank you, coach. It means the world. I'm glad to be here still.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, pull up, come through. You know what to do. Hit subscribe, likey, the thingies, and all the other thingies. And I'll see you all in a workout.
Take care,
Take
y'all.
care. Bye,
Bye.
Myra.